Okay, what is renewable energy? Renewable energy is energy produced from sources that do not deplete or can be replenished within a human's lifetime. This energy that has been derived from Earth's natural resources.
Let's take a look for the first one. Solar energy.
Solar energy refers to capturing the energy from the sun and subsequently converting it into electricity. The sun's energy is in the form of solar radiation. Solar radiation makes the production of solar electricity possible.
A photon is a basic unit that makes up all light. It is a bundle of electromagnetic energy. When photons strike a solar cell, they lose electrons from their atoms. If we attach a conductor to a cell's negative and positive sides, we have an electrical circuit. When the electrons flow through the circuit, they generate electricity. Solar panels or solar modules consists of many solar cells. When there are many panels wired up together, we have a solar array.
Let's take a look at application.
Now, we move to wind energy.
Theory. Wind energy or wind power refers to the process of creating electricity using the wind or air flows that occur naturally in the Earth's atmosphere. Modern wind turbines are used to capture kinetic energy from the wind and generate electricity.
Basically, wind energy comes from wind turbines.
When wind flows, the air pressure on one side of the blade decreases. The difference in air pressure across the two sides of the blade creates both lift and drag, so they spinning. The rotor connects to the generator speed up the rotation and allow for a physically smaller generator. This translation of aerodynamic force to rotation of a generator creates electricity.
Power generated by a wind turbine can be determined by the number of blades, the length of the blades, the shape of the blades, the mass or weight of the blades, the pitch or angle of the blades to the wind, the height of the tower, the gear used, the type of generator used and the computer system that controls the operation.
Now, we dive into features.
Do you know wind is a form of solar energy caused by a combination of three concurrent events, which are the sun unevenly heating the atmosphere, irregularities of the Earth's surface, and the rotation of the Earth?
Wind turbines should be located where there are steady, strong winds, though not so strong, they would damage the turbines. Ideal sites for wind turbines is, away from obstructions such as forests, towers and rocky outcrops. Next, at the highest point possible, and, the best place is on top of a smooth hilltop, where the wind can concentrate and increase in speed.
Now, let we discuss about hydroelectric.
The theory for hydroelectric energy, or also called hydroelectric power and hydroelectricity, is that the conversion of energy from flowing water into electricity. But, how do we get electricity from water?
Fiercely, the dam stores lots of water behind it in a reservoir. Near the bottom of the dam wall, there's the water intake. Gravity causes it to fall through the penstock inside the dam. At the end of the penstock, there is a turbine propeller, which is turned by the moving water. Then, the shaft from the turbine goes up into the generator, which produces the power. At last, power lines are connected to the generator that carry electricity. But remember, it is not a good idea to be playing in the water right below a dam when water is released.
There are two main types of hydro plants. They are dams and run-of-river. Dams have two more types, which are impoundment and pumped storage.
First, impoundment facilities. The dam is used to create a large reservoir of water. Electricity is made when water passes through turbines in the dam.
Next, pumped storage facilities. There is an additional reservoir at the base. Water can be pumped to higher reservoir to store the energy for use at a later time. Water is pumped during overnight, since there is a less need for electricity in homes, businesses, and other facilities at that time.
Lastly, run-of-river. It still uses turbines and generator, but it depends more on natural water flow rates. Since run-of-river hydro is subject to natural water variability, it is more intermittent than dam hydro.
Now, we move to ocean energy. But, only theoretically.
Do you know that the ocean energy can be categorized into three forms? They are wave, tidal, and ocean thermal.
Waves of the ocean are moving, due to the blowing winds over the surface of the ocean.
Waves break at the coastline are sometimes strong, and sometimes weak. But there is a tremendous energy potential that is available onto the coastline, and free of charge. This power plant right here can convert that inexhaustible energy into electricity. This chamber is an opening beneath the sea level, which allows water to flow. Water level in the chamber rises and falls, follow the rhythm of the waves, and air is forced forward and backward through the turbine. Thus, electricity is produced. Moreover, there is an upper opening in the chamber that allows the air movement.
Have you noticed that water at the beach starts receding from the shore? Then, the water level rises? So, why? Relax, this is very common phenomena. This rise and fall of the water level is called tide. Tide is basically affected by the gravitational pull of the sun and the moon.
The tidal technologies are tidal barrages, tidal fences, and tidal turbines. Tidal barrages, there is a change of height between high tides and low tides which create potential energy. This energy turns a turbine or compresses air which creates electricity. Meanwhile, tidal fences operate like giant turnstiles. Tidal turbines are same as wind turbines, but tidal turbines are placed underwater. Additional info: ocean currents could generate relatively more energy than wind currents, since ocean water is 832 times more dense than air and therefore, applies greater force.
Ocean thermal. The temperature of the water is different between the surface and the depth of the ocean. As you get deeper, the colder it would be. Moreover, surface gets the heat directly from sun rays. This temperature difference is used to generate electricity.
So, how does it work? Okay, there are three types of ocean thermal energy conversion. They're closed cycle, open cycle, and hybrid. Basically, working fluid for closed cycle is ammonia as it has a low boiling point. Meanwhile, the seawater itself is open cycle. Hybrid is the combination of both types. First, working fluid boils up by the warm seawater and produced vapor. Next, vapor rotates the turbine and produced electricity. Then, vapor is converted into liquid again because the cold water is pumped up. Last, the cycle repeat.
Now, let's discuss biomass.
Biomass is made of material that comes from living organisms, as well as waste feedstock. Biomass has many conversion processes to produce energy. Biomass can be burned to create heat, converted into electricity, or processed into biofuel and black liquor. It takes time to explain more about biomass. Thus, we will be focusing on how biomass generates electricity. Before heating, the feedstocks must be dried through chemical process called torrefaction, which that feedstock dries out so completely that it loses the ability to absorb moisture or become hydrophobic.
The features of thermal conversion are combustion, gasification, pyrolysis, and anaerobic digestion.
Combustion. Feedstocks is burned to heat water. The water creates steam. The pressure of the steams rotate the turbine. Turbine powers the generator and create electricity.
Gasification. Feedstocks converted into combustible gas mixture called syngas, and slag. Using heat pressure and partial combustion. The clean syngas can be combusted for heat or electricity. Slag can be used to make shingles, cement, or asphalt.
Pyrolysis. Feedstocks are heated in the high temperature without the presence of oxygen. Biomass is not combust and it is chemically altered into three components. Biochar is useful in agriculture. Bio-oil or pyrolysis oil can be used to generate electricity. Singer's is same, like gasification.
Anaerobic digestion or biodigestion. Landfills created an oxygen-poor environment that help this process. Microorganisms, mainly bacteria, break down material in the absence of oxygen. Biogas, which methane, is produced to create energy. Digestate makes a great fertilizer.
Last, we move to geothermal.
Theory. Geothermal is using the internal heat of the Earth's crust. This heat comes from the radioactive decay of minerals, and continual heat loss from the Earth's original formation.
Hot water is pumped from deep underground through a well under high pressure. When the water reaches the surface, the pressure is dropped, which causes the water to turn into steam. The steam spins a turbine, which is connected to a generator that produces electricity. The steam cools off in a cooling tower and condenses back to water. The cooled water is pumped back into the earth to begin the process again.
Types of geothermal power plants. First, dry steam, which is the oldest geothermal technology. It takes steam out of fractures in the ground and uses it to directly dry the turbine. Flash steam. It pulls deep, high-pressure hot water into cooler, low-pressure water. The steam that results from this process is used to drive the turbine. Lastly, binary cycle. The hot water is passed by a secondary fluid with a much lower boiling point than water. It causes the secondary fluid to turn to vapor, which then drives the turbine. For your info, most geothermal power plants in the future might be binary plants.
Application at home. First, a refrigerant moves through a loop of pipes. Second, when the weather is cold, the refrigerant heats up as it travels through the part of the loop. Third, once it gets back above ground, the warmed refrigerant transfers heat into the building. Fourth, the refrigerant cools down after its heat is transferred and pumped back underground where it heats up again. Last, on a hot day, the system can run in reverse. Conclusion. There are many renewable energies that could help mankind. With these earth resources, we could ease our daily life, especially the need of electricity. Solar and wind energy are the most perfect to power your home. Even some DIY enthusiasts are able to install solar panel and wind turbines themselves.